Assalamu alaikum and hello. My name is Halima Hajat and I am a holistic consultant, and I'm on here on the Health Podcast, brought to you by UCTV and powered by AUDLEY Late Night Pharmacy. And today in this episode, I'm going to be telling you the 3 foods that if you change, you will radically improve your chronic conditions, whether that might be cancer, whether that might be a form of autoimmune disorder, whether that might be a form of inflammation or eczema or anything like that. These 3 foods are like superpower foods, in the sense that if you make actions on these 3 things, you will massively change the dynamic of your body, and it will help you no matter what condition you're suffering with. Okay, and so the first one is water. Now, most of our body is actually water anyway, so we need to be able to constantly stay hydrated. And what happens when you lack water is the water gets drawn into your core organs, right? And it then kind of comes away from your extremities because we need the water, right? And so if you have less water, our body will draw that water into our core organs, and you'll start to feel like your skin being dry, right? Because there's less water towards our skin. And so this is an indication that our body is heavily dehydrated, and we need to be drinking a lot of water. Now, a lot of these chronic conditions are there because your immune system isn't able to function as properly or as well as it could, right? And water gives the immune system to work better, right? It helps your blood flow, it helps your body feel more energized, use more water circulating. It hydrates every part of your body, and so your immune system gets better the more water you drink, right? So you just focus on drinking that 2 liters or 2.5 liters of water a day, and if you just do that for about 5 days, I promise you will see a massive difference straight away, right? And the problem that we have is that we don't measure the amount of water we drink. What we say is, oh, I drank a glass in the morning and I drank a glass at lunchtime, I had a bit here, I had a bit there. That's not enough. You need to be measuring how much water you drink, and the easiest way to do that is to get yourself a water bottle, right? So this is around 600 ml, right? So I know that if I have 4 of these, I'm gonna get 2,400 ml. So I'm going to get 2.4 litres in my body. So I just need to focus on getting 4 of these. And that way I don't have to think too much and, waste so much like mental energy trying to calculate and work out how much water am I drinking. Instead, I just know I need to have 4 of these. So I'll just make sure that once I've finished drinking it, I just top it up and I just carry it with me everywhere I go throughout the day, and I just keep sipping. I just have a bit and keep going, and that way I actually don't feel like I've drank a lot of water because I'm sipping slowly. I'm just having a sip here and there, right? And it'll just make that process so much easier. But you do that for just 5 days or 7 days straight, and you will notice a difference straight away, okay? And so that's number 1, and I want you to take this as a challenge, right? Starting from today, from the time that you watch this video, go and get yourself a bottle or something where you know that you can measure the amount of water. Get that 2 liters or 2.5 liters measured out, know how much that is, and just stick to drinking it. Even if you make no other changes and you stick to your life the way it is, I just want you to do that one change and notice the difference you feel in your body. I promise you will see that. Okay, so that's number 1, water. Number 2 is sugar. Now, sugar is obviously the most, I know everyone talks about it, and it probably does get boring to listen to sugar over and over again, but sugar, it is the most nastiest thing on the planet. It is responsible for so many diseases, right? Sugar is is one of the main causes of dementia and Alzheimer's. So it literally is so bad that it affects the brain and it shrinks the brain, right? And now it's massively harmful, but we don't realize it, right? And it's not easy because sugar is in almost everything, so it makes it really, really difficult for us to kind of eliminate sugar from our diet, right? But here's what I'm going to say to you, because it's not practical for you to just you know, just eliminate sugar altogether and not have it, right? That's not going to happen, because number one, you know, like I said, sugar is in a lot of our foods, so if we just eliminated it, it wouldn't work. And number two, our body won't be able to cope with that, because it's so used to having sugar that if you just stop, then you will feel withdrawal effects. At the end of the day, sugar acts like a drug, right? That's how bad it is. It acts like a drug, and sugar addiction is very, very real. So you have to treat it like a drug, right? So we need to get our body to, you know, feel kind of that same spike, I guess, but we need to titrate it down. But we need to be able to, you know, we also want to enjoy the foods. So what is the best way to deal with eliminating sugar from your diet? And I would say the best way to do that is switching the sugar. So switching the sugar to a better alternative, right? Now, there are obviously a lot of sugar alternatives out there in the supermarket, but you have to be careful, because a lot of these sugar alternatives or these artificial sweeteners they are artificial, which means that yes, it might not be sugar, but it's something that is artificial and fake that you're putting in your body, so it's going to cause you problems in a different way, right? And so we want to replace sugar with a natural alternative, okay? So you do get sweeteners that are natural based sweeteners, okay? Things like stevia, which is quite a good one. There are lots of natural sugar alternatives. So you have things like organic coconut sugar. You have, in Gujarati we call it Ghee, which is jaggery. And it's like a block. It comes as like a block. You can normally get it from a lot of the South Asian stores. But it's kind of like a pure form of sugar, really. But all of these things kind of give you the same amount of sugar, taste wise and all of that, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't spike your blood sugar as much, and it doesn't cause the harm. The reason why sugar is so harmful is because it has been processed so much, right, that it's just become a toxic drug, right? And so you eliminate sugar from your diet, you replace it to something better. Put something else in your tea and coffee. When you're baking, you can use these sugar alternatives as well. YouTube has amazing recipes on all of these things, right? But as long as you make that sugar change, you will see a massive improvement in your health and well-being, massively. Just do it for a week, and I promise you, like, you know, there's so much benefits that will come from that, right? And the energy and stuff that will come. Remember, like, sugar affects your brain a lot, and so to be able to give that clarity to your brain is going to be massive. And the third thing, so the first one that we just said was water. The second one is cutting sugar out. And the third thing is getting rid of the trans fats, okay? So the kind of fake, artificial, processed fats. And the main thing, the main action that you can do here is your oils. Like the sunflower vegetable oil, it is so bad for you, which is a shame, because a lot of our South Asian curries and food that we eat, we have like ingredients like turmeric, we have ingredients like ginger and garlic, and all of these really beneficial like spices that we use that are so good for your body. And what do? We kill it off with the oil. It's such a shame, because something that could have been so nutritious, so nutritiously dense and nourishing, is now just like toxic for us, right? And so changing your oil. And I know like some people will say, oh, you can't cook the same with different oils and it doesn't taste the same. I'm sorry, but I beg to differ, because I do that now. I no longer use those oils, and when I do, I notice the difference. Like my stomach is like on fire. I am like struggling, like I have so many problems now because I'm used to having the healthier oils. So what are these healthier oils? Number one, we all know, is really good quality extra virgin olive oil. But the one thing with that is we can't use that on high heat. Generally, we shouldn't be cooking on high heat anyway, because it burns all of the goodness. So we want to cook on low heat. Extra virgin olive oil, cook on low heat. If you're cooking a curry, do your onions and stuff, get them caramelized. As long as you're doing it on a low heat, eventually near the end you can put it up a bit to get them a little bit more caramelized. But it does the job beautiful and wonderful and fine. And yeah, you can smell the olive oil, but by the time you caramelize the onions and add your spices in and all of that stuff, I'm telling you, you can't tell at all. And my kids don't notice the difference. My husband can't notice the difference either. Okay? So taste wise is there. So extra virgin olive oil. You also have organic coconut oil. So coconut oil is amazing, and it's so good, especially for your brain, because a lot of your brain is actually fat. It's actually a lot of fat, and you know, there's a component in there that is high in the brain, and it's basically like a fatty oil, right? It's like, sorry, not fatty oil, like it's like the MCT in coconut oil is like amazing for your brain, right? And so just adding that in, using that, and coconut is actually more of a high heat oil, so you can have that on a more higher heat, so that works as well. And yes, you can smell the coconut oil, but once you've caramelized the onions and once you've added your spices, that goes away and you can't taste it at the end. So I highly recommend you do that. And the other alternative is I recommend is ghee. And ghee is obviously butter that's been, you know, churned, and I don't know, you know, the process there, that is, you know, quite traditional, and is often used in more traditional South Asian homes, and it's very common back home in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, right? And it's so good for you, right? It's so good for you, and it's a lot better for you than, yeah, you know, some of these things are high in fat, but we do need good quality fat. What we don't want is bad quality fat that is highly processed and toxic. So these things are actually still a lot better. Coconut oil and ghee are higher in fat, but they are high in good fats, right? So we have them in moderation, we don't exaggerate, we don't have excess of anything. Have them in moderation, but they are so much more beneficial, nutritious, and they will make you will feel the symptoms, you will feel that difference when you make that change, right? And these are 3 changes, so you don't have to make massive changes to your diet, to your lifestyle, to anything. All you do is, number 1, have that water. Just put a plan in place to make that as part of your routine. Number 2, you can have sweet stuff, but just change it to a better alternative than sugar, that is a natural form, that is an organic form, that is actually going to be beneficial, not toxic. And number 3, change your oil so that you can actually cook nutritious meals that are going to benefit you, instead of your foods kind of becoming toxic for you, right? So those 3 things are really actions that you can take that don't take a lot of effort. They don't take effort at all, right? You do these things, you implement them in your life, and I promise you, within a short amount of time, you will see a massive difference in your body, in the way that you feel, in your energy levels, in your concentration, your symptoms. You'll start to see a change there. It will do amazing things for you. And just these 3 things, forget everything else, just these 3 things. I challenge you to implement these 3 things for 1 week, and you can let me know by emailing me at hello@halimahajat.com. Email me and tell me how you feel, right? I challenge you. Please do that. Okay, thank you for listening to this podcast episode. You are welcome to email me at any time. A lot of the work I do is working with chronic sufferers to help them find relief through various holistic, both external and internal methods. And you're able to reach out to me on my email below this video at hello@halimahajat.com. And that's it. My name is Halima Hajat. I am a holistic consultant, and this episode is on the Health Podcast by UCTV and is powered by AUDLEY Late Night Pharmacy in Blackburn. Thank you.